path towards Emma Wood, so it's just one long out and back that eventually hits the bike path. And yeah, raise your hand.
I don't know why it's taking so long to come back, but it's 90%, and for the most part doesn't affect my training at this point. Just you can tell it's a little bit what's the word, inflamed, I guess, like slightly, and then there's like a little bit of discoloration, so probably doesn't bode well for my long-term health, but who cares? If I can run, then I can run. Did a race, half marathon, mostly on trail, and I had a chance to win. It was a good competition, actually. I was like in 20th place at mile 1 because everyone went out fast. The first mile, it was like downhill. And then after that, everyone like started like settling in, and then the packs formed, and I was in a pack of like four, well, maybe 6 people, and then it whittled down to 4, then eventually it was 2. It was myself and this other guy who was like this 20-year-old dude that was wearing like carbon plated shoes for a race that was mostly on trail. And it wasn't like super technical, but it was still technical. And I was like, there's no way this guy's gonna run through, mud puddles and river crossings with carbon plated shoes on. But he did. He rolled his ankle like 8 times, but he handled it really well, and he set the pace the whole time, and I was just trying to hang on to him. Honestly, it's a mental exercise. I ran right on his ass for 9 miles, so much so that all my race photos, you don't see me because you see him and you see maybe like an arm sticking out or nothing. It's like trying to play Where's Waldo with like myself. But I made a move at mile 9. I got a 5-second gap at mile 10, and then my legs just abruptly died. So I had the fitness, I think, to win, but my legs just weren't there yet. On 30 miles a week, I just didn't have the strength yet. And there were a lot of hills, and especially the hills like beat my legs up, but I didn't know it. And then the downhills at the end are what really finished me off. I was like, oh shoot, like I couldn't, I was so tight. I'm hoping to do a rematch with the guy who beat me 2 weeks ago in wine country coming up. I hope I told him about the race, and my girlfriend was like, or fiance, I should say. She was like, wait, why are you telling this guy about the race? You want to lose? I'm like, no, I don't want to lose. I want revenge. Like, what? Victory doesn't mean anything unless you triumph over something, adversity, or you battle it out with someone. You call someone out. You put your fitness to the test, So whether I win or not, I want to get the best out of myself. And that means inviting fast people. Plus, I think I got him in the bag. He's 20 years old. He's like half my age. He runs a lot more effortlessly than I do. He's a track guy, but he's getting into the long distance stuff. He just did his, I think, he did his second marathon. It was this year earlier, but he's kind of like the type where I know he'll be better than me eventually, but I think right now he doesn't know how good he can be. He's still kind of learning. He's young. He's 20 years old. So he hasn't figured out his endurance yet. So he doesn't know how fast he can be, how hard he can push himself. So I want to beat him now before he realizes that. This is my chance. But I've noticed I've become like that old guy at races that like everyone in the leaderboard is like 25 or 20 years old. And I'm like the one guy who's like older. And if I shave, I still look pretty young, but it's like I'm the only guy who's wearing like compression shorts or like you could just, I don't know, maybe you can't tell, but like for me, I can tell. I'm like, okay, like I'm clearly someone who's like, injury prone, or just like, I don't know, like just I'm like the experienced aged one now. And like I'm the one after the race that goes and like talks to if I don't win, talks to the winner or gives advice. Or like, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when I was that age, and like, I'm like that annoying old guy now that I used to make fun of, like when I was younger. Like I feel like I'm becoming that old guy. I don't know if I like that or not, but that's just, it is what it is. And It didn't go that well. I mean, I got third out of like 2,600 people. So that part sounds impressive, but I ran a minute slower than last year. The 2 weeks leading up to the race, I was sick. I had like a sinus infection or something, and I just had a hard time breathing. That was like the lingering symptom I still had after 2 weeks. Like most of the symptoms went away. I had light coughing, and I had like wheezing. Yeah, I really hope this doesn't. It's gonna be my wedding, mariachi band and French bulldogs. I didn't think about that. We have a violinist coming. I don't know if they collab.
You're gonna have them play louder.
It'll just be back and forth. They play louder, we play louder. They play faster, we play faster.
Perfect wedding for Chris.
God, this is my life.
We need the sound system.
Besides getting married last weekend, which maybe talk about another time, we're also expecting a child. It's hard for me to get that word out. Child, because it's weird to say. But yeah, we're expecting in September, so I'm trying to train and enjoy it while I can, my freedom, because I don't know what's going to happen after that. Hopefully, I mean, if anyone knows me, you know that running and working out is essential to my overall well-being and just happiness. And I mean, I'm a simple guy. If I can get a run in, everything else is fine. I don't care if I'm homeless. I mean, I lived in a van for 8 months at one point. Like, I don't even care, like, whatever's going on in my life, in the world. Like, I'm very small and I'm very simple and closed in. Like, as long as I get my workout in, then I'm great. So, you know, hopefully I can maintain it. I'm going to try my best. We'll see. I know it's going to be kind of hectic. I am kind of excited to do like races with like a stroller and a baby like in a year, and dominate that division. But for now, you know, I'm just trying to do the middle-aged, you know, kind of washed up runner, try to compete at the, you know, high level still. So, anyway, yeah, I hope to do a couple of these races this year before the baby comes. And then I also want to squeeze in a marathon. I'm thinking July, before it gets too close to the due date, but I can still do it. It's going to be around here, like a local race. The downside is I don't feel like I'm ready for the marathon. I don't have that much time to build up for one. And the race is kind of podunk, where, I mean, there's not really going to be any competition. There's still the potential it could get hot in July. It's summer. So it's kind of like not really the most ideal temperature for doing a marathon. And they have an early start option, which I asked the race director about. But the problem is, if you do the early start, like an hour early, you might get better weather. But one, you run alone, right? But I thought, oh, there's 3 loops, so I'll just run 1 loop alone, and then I'll time it to where I start the second loop when everyone else is starting, so I'll have competition when I'm tired, and like it'll be a good carrot. Problem is, he said that if you do an early start, you're not eligible for any awards, so that's kind of a bummer. So I don't think I'm going to do early start. But I mean, that race is in mid-July, so that's like just under 2 months from now. And I mean, I'm running, I'm training, I'm fairly fit, but I'm not where I want to be. So I just don't really know. And the race is like cupless, the whole trend with cupless, and I get it, the environment and whatnot, but I mean, I've been to races where they have a full Gatorade bottle, full one. I don't need that. Like, that's a waste, right? But like little cups, come on. I mean, I'll help pick up after the race, but like just little Dixie cups, like just enough for a sip. That's all you need. But I'm not gonna stop and refill my own bottle. Like, I'm not entitled, but like, you just don't want to waste any time. I don't think race directors get that. Like, the people who are really serious, it doesn't have to be fast. People that are serious, maybe going for a BQ qualifying time or whatever, or just a PR, like, they're not gonna want to stop for water every time. That's gonna deter people from taking aid stations, which is kind of, you know, unfortunate, because, you know, I've learned through my limited marathon experience that I always do better and feel better the more aid stations I hit. So even if I'm not thirsty or whatever, like just grabbing like a cup and just putting down like a little sip every time you get to an aid station, almost every mile or two, that's usually in your best interest. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll have my own bottle that I carry, and you know what? Screw it. I'll make my own aid station. I will have a table right at the end of each loop, and I will have a little small bottle, and I'll hold it like a handheld, and I'll hold it, and I'll use one small bottle every lap, and I'll just grab it from the table. My next one, I'll make my own elite, marathon aid station for myself if the race director's not going to do it. But I don't know. That's the plan anyway. I don't know what my goal for the race is yet. It's not necessarily a PR. I don't think I can do it. I'm not that confident in my fitness, and also running like pretty much probably alone. Maybe a bike pacer, but I don't really have like a lot of competition. So those late miles might be kind of hard pushing myself on my own. I don't know, but I still want to run a decent time. I'm thinking, sub 240 would be good, even though this is the sub 230 marathon series. You got to start somewhere, and regardless of what I've run in the last 3 years, I haven't done a marathon in 3 years. So it was September 2021, Berlin, when I broke my ankle, and I did some 10-mile runs, not recently, but in like late March to mid-April, I did 3 10-mile runs, like all out. And the first one I did in like 5:52 average, which, I mean, it was a long, it was, at the time, was like really good. And then for me, like running a sub-hour 10-miler is always like a good sort of fitness indicator. Like, okay, I'm in decent, if I can do that, I'm in decent shape, and then so 5:52 average, then like a couple weeks later, 2 weeks later, whatever it was, I did another one at a 5:46 average, so I cut 6 seconds off. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then like a couple weeks later, I did another one at a 5:39 average, so I cut off another 7 seconds, and that was like mid-April, and I haven't done one since, so it's been a little over a month. But that was just some good indicators of where I was. And these are all flat 10-milers, no hills. So best case scenario kind of thing. But still, good progression. Right now I struggle to run sub 5-minute pace. So my fitness is there, but my speed is not there. So I still need to work on that. But all things considered, I'm doing okay. I bought some compression like boots on Amazon, and like a knockoff brand, because I didn't want to pay for Normatec. That's like really expensive. This knockoff brand for like $300, and they work. They're great. Been using those a little bit, and aside from that, I've also been going to this Stretch Lab, which is this place in Santa Barbara that you go there, you get like half an hour, and you say upper or lower body, or you can do an hour and do both. I always do lower body. But anyway, so they'll stretch you out. They'll do all these like cool stretches, things that you couldn't do on your own. It's like having your own personal trainer, basically, except you got to pay for it. And it's been helpful, I think, just because I get really sore and tight all the time, and I'm very inflexible. And as time goes on, the more running I do, the older I get, the less I pay attention to like my body, the worse all those things get. So I'm trying to like stay ahead of it and keep my range of motion, the limited range of motion that I currently have, keep that, and hopefully improve it. Try to do the little things. I also got an app on my phone called Dynamic Runner, and it has, what's cool about it is it has like these trainers, so you can like screen share it to your TV from your phone, and then the trainers like show you what to do. Like, okay, we're gonna do this, lunge, reverse lunge stretch or whatever, and you're doing it. I need someone to do it with me. I can't like do it on my own. I need someone to tell me what to do. So I have that app. I've been using that to stretch more. Today on my trail run, all I have is a water bottle, like from 7-Eleven or whatever. I don't even have a real running bottle, because every time I do a race with a running bottle, I throw it away. Like during the race, I chuck it because I'm like, I don't want to hold it anymore. And that happened in the last race, in the April race. I was running with it and no one else had a water bottle. Well, one person did and they threw theirs. And I was like, wait, why do I have mine? I'm throwing mine. Because like, you don't want to be the one that's holding more weight. And then like, I didn't really need it, I don't think. And so anyway, I threw it. Stupid, but I just didn't want to like for that to be a reason to lose. And also like when you're tired in your head, you're just trying to like make everything easier, so you don't want to hold anything. In 2015 or whatever it was, I did a 2:48 marathon off of 48 miles a week, or 45 miles a week. And then I did New York in 2019 off of like a lot of cycling and like 35 miles a week. And I did a 2:44 on that course. So I don't want to say confident, but I think that I can maybe flirt with that 240 barrier even off of 50 miles a week. I think I could do it. So we'll see. We'll put that to the test, but I'm not going for a PR. I'm just trying to get a marathon under my belt because it's been 3 years and I'm getting older and it's getting harder. And I'm just trying to like, see if I can still do it. And I got to start somewhere. And hopefully with a marathon under my belt, I can, build from that. And I just want to have also, this is a, Boston qualifying USATF certified course. So, I can use it as qualifying times for like Chicago or other major marathons, which would be nice because I can't submit my times for anything because it's too far outside the qualifying window of time. Usually it's about 2 years. So I just want to have a time on the board that I can use for other races. As far as nutrition goes, fueling, I'm practicing different things. I've started eating more breakfast now before runs because I got into a kick for a while where I didn't have breakfast. I ate nothing because I shit myself during runs, and I was like, okay, I got to stop this. And I realized that if I didn't eat dinner too late the night before and didn't have breakfast, that I would be fine on the run, like marathons and stuff like that, half marathons. But I got to a certain point where I was getting too hungry on the start line. I'd be like kind of dizzy, and that's not good either. You got to find a balance. And even though I'd have a gel like right before I started the run, it wasn't enough. So now I'm back to having breakfast again. So I had breakfast and no montage of that. And then I'm doing for like my fluids, I've been doing liquid IV for that because it gives me some good electrolytes. I want to experiment with other products too, but that's just what the store had, and that's what I've been using for the last couple years. So I like it. You just got to make sure it's diluted because it's very salty and it can give you stomach cramps if you don't dilute it enough. So ideally, you have more than one fuel bottle. And like in a race, if you had one bottle of that, then you'd have like the aid stations just taking water as a side. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really like holding anything during a marathon anymore. During races, like I really don't. And in the marathon, like sometimes it's kind of necessary. But if you are in a big race that has adequate aid stations, you can probably get away with not doing that. And that's kind of where I want to go. I don't want to hold anything, except for maybe my gels. I don't mind holding that. But this, marathon coming up in July that I'm considering doing, I'm going to have to hold something, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. So that's pretty much going on. I'm tired, but, we get up, we get it done, I'm on the come up. The funny thing is I had some friends visiting and they were going to miss their flight. But luckily I was up around the same time that they had to get up. And so I went into their room and I was like, wait, why are you guys still sleeping? And so they were getting ready, kind of like Home Alone, the movie Home Alone with the McAllisters. And they're all like, and they're like all getting ready really fast. Like that was them this morning.
Already finished.
Are those scallops?
No, the meatballs.
Well, there's this too.
Oh, steamed broccoli and the salad. That's enough to feed the Jolly Green Giant.